My name is Anthony Oakes.
And I'm Patrice DeVoe. And this is the Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice.
Create a space where we could, discuss Black content creators and providers and consumers of Black content. Produce our own film, on our own starring on a film, it's about Black content. That's what we want.
Welcome to the Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice.
Let me put this down real quick. The two boys is not in Richmond no more, so I feel like I can put it down. Anthony, how you doing, boo?
I'm good. Yo, you are over there locked and loaded.
Listen, we're going to definitely get into that, but can we talk about real quick how much fun we had over the weekend? We got a chance to go to the She More Funny Darren Fleet show up in Baltimore.
Oh my God, I should have got those pictures. We could have uploaded those pictures. Hindsight 2020, but we did have a great time.
Yeah, and your Busboys and Poets online show last night was fantastic, and that also had one of the She More Funny women. Woo Woo the comedian was the feature on that, and she went crazy.
She did go crazy. Shout out to Busboys and Poets. That was shout out to She More Funny because that show in Baltimore was hilarious. Darren Fleet brought it through in the end. It was a great show, and I had a great time. I love good people and good vibes.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, but we can't have the fun that we want to have until we bring on the other half of the Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice, the squad.
Hey!
Turnipseeds. How y'all doing? Y'all mic is muted.
Oh. Hey! Let's do that again. What it do?
How y'all doing? How's the baby Turnipseeds? What's going on? What's new with y'all?
Not much is new. I mean, same old, but just Happy New Year. Still making sure that we, on this side of the bridge. In the green zone. How about that? We live off the green line and are in the green zone, which is normally in the red, but right now.
That's so funny that you said y'all live in the green zone because that's going to tie into Tracy's Black Business shout out. That's crazy, right? Y'all playing that.
And before we go into the Black Business shout out, because we definitely want to promote Black businesses at all times, and we get on here and we have a great time, but this is also a Black business, and it's a donation-based Black business. So if you are a supporter and a friend of the show, please feel free to cash app us at the Black Think Tank. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And we certainly want to thank our supporters from last week, Marcus Keith Island, of course, our executive producer, and Shonda Causer, who also donated to the show. Thank you for seeing it for us and watching us. And so on to more Black business, I suppose, Anthony.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about the green zone, I guess we can go ahead and hop into it. Now, like Patrice said, this is a donation-based show, and we love Black businesses. Support your Black businesses. So we here at Black Think Tank like to do our part with the Black Business Shout Out.
Black Business Shout Out. Black Business Shout Out. Hey. Welcome to the Black Business Shout Out with Tracie Turnipseed. Support your Black businesses.
Hey, Black Business Shout Out.
So our Black Business Shout Out today is dear to my heart. This is actually on Anacostia Organics. So I guess marijuana has been legal in the city now for about what, 10 years?
No,
No, a little less.
6 or 7.
Little less.
Yeah.
I think it's around 9 years. Medicinally, yeah. So medicinally, it's been legal for about 9 years, and not until 2019. What, last year, 2 years ago, we just got a dispensary over here on the south side in Anacostia. Now, previously, me and Haywood both had our cards. I would travel all the way up to Tacoma Park. And now, this will probably tie into what we have to say later on too. But when you look at the map of DC, even though things may be like actually 7 miles away, it could actually take about an hour to get there, depending how you're trying to get there. So I would have to take the metro all the way from Capitol Hill after I get off to work and go all the way over on the red line, which is like near Montgomery County in a whole other state, to go to Tacoma Park Wellness so I could pick up my medicine. Now, the majority of the city, probably about 80% of the city, all have their medicinal. Out of the 80% of the people who have their medicinal license here in DC, they live here on this side of town. So not until last year in 2019, and this was an emergency bid that was actually placed to have medicinal marijuana placed in either Ward 7 or Ward 8. Ward 7 would be like over, Anthony, I believe you're in Ward 7.
Yes.
Yeah, which is probably the other side of Southeast, Northeast, the quadrant Northeast. And of course, over here on this side of the bridge is Southeast. Now they had one on Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill is also considered Southeast, but I believe that's Ward 6. Our wards are broken up like most people's cities, maybe be similar to a city
Wards
or
maybe
county, cities.
Like New Orleans or something like that. I mean,
yeah, we have different representations. So our representation came through Mariel Bowser, along with, what's this guy's name again? Trayon White. Eleanor Holmes Norton. I knew her name. Eleanor Holmes. They all actually held an emergency meeting for the council and decided after the organizer, I'll tell you her name in a second, brought this information. Hey, half the city over here has their license. Why isn't there an actual dispensary over here? And this is medicine. So you can't, not have medicine on an entire side of the city. So they all sat down, made an emergency vote, and decided full-heartedly to accept Anacostia Organics. So on January 24th, 2019, with a ribbon cutting ceremony, all those people were there, along with members of the city, were able to finally get Anacostia Organics down here on the Anacostia side, not in Ward 7. Anacostia is probably about 2 miles from us. So now if I decide to get my license again, it's only a hop, skip, and a jump down the street. So the actual owner is Linda Green. There she is right there. I'm pretty sure she looks like she's a Delta. I don't know.
I think it's the combination of the red dress and plus their logo.
And the logo.
Exactly. And the pearls.
Uh-huh.
So she is the co-founder, board chair, and owner of Anacostia Organics, which is a minority women-owned medicinal cannabis dispensary. Now, she was also able to get this open early enough because she also brought the information that there was only one minority male, one minority female who actually owned dispensaries in the city out of all the dispensaries and grow homes in the city. So I'd like to make this special shout out to Linda Green. Thank you for doing your thing and bringing much needed medicine to this side of town. Just because the people here may not make as much money over as those people on Capitol Hill, our property probably would be good and be able to sell for as much. But why should you have to do that and move out of your own city and able to get medicinal benefits? Like in PG County, Maryland, all over, we could cross the bridge, but you have to be a resident. So thank you for bringing it, Linda, Miss Green, over to this side of the bridge. You're our
Black business shout out. Black business shout out. Hey. Welcome to the Black Business Shout Out with Tracie Turnipseed. Support your black businesses.
And we're back. That was the Black Business Shout Out. Thank you, Tracie, to bring that medicine over here on the good side of town. I love how you call it the medicine.
the medicine.
I'm watching from Virginia, very jealous, trust me.
Kamala is promising that they're going to change some laws with that. In Virginia, I've already seen has been petitioning for some time now to get marijuana legal. So hold on to your britches.
Oh yeah, it's changing. I've already seen some of the progression from decriminalization, and now we're moving in a different direction. So slow and steady. It's how we generally do in the southern region.
Talking about medicine, I ordered last week. I ordered some cookies from MJ Herbal Infusions.
Oh, you just underscore.
No, because the website's going to be going live sometime this week as soon as I get my shipping together. For my CBD oils, but there will be no more underscore. It will be www.mjherbalinfusions.com.
Yeah.
I don't care what you want to call it, Tracy. I'm gonna call it evening of being stuck. Okay, because I have that little block of it was like a cookie this weekend. After the She More Funny show, and I had me and Anthony decided we're gonna go to Maryland Live, throw a couple shillings on the table, and I was wrapping around in circles. I'm talking about a whole dummy. I was a whole dummy, and it was, you ever be so up there that you mad at yourself? You like, what? I cannot believe it. I know I'm messing up left and right. Like,
girl, y'all should have seen her driving, y'all.
I was going like 35 or 295.
I was like,
it was a mess. It was a whole mess.
You need to be able to feel the medicine. You need to be able to see measurable change.
I mean, I'm just
not getting measurable change.
Hold on, real quick. I wasn't driving. I was riding down 295.
Hey. Yeah, it's important that you see measurable change. If you don't like your product, please send it back, and I will replace it for no fee. But I've never had that happen. So.
Shout out to
before we go on, I want to at least shout out to some of our Black Think Tank family that's in here. Of course, Rashawn Goss White, we see you, baby. Mika, we see you. Rashawn Tate, we see you. I think Alex Brown was in here. So don't forget to share the live. Show is medicine.
It is open for recreation.
Show is medicine.
Oh, so Rashawn, or someone asked real quick. I'm sorry, the name went away. I was just about to read it. Yes, Mr. Tate. He's asking if it's just medicinal. There's no recreational marijuana that you can actually purchase legally in DC as of yet. But I have heard of a service called where'sweed.com. You might want to inquire with them after what's going on now in the city, because I doubt anyone. But there is a Where's Weed app where you can actually go and get large.
I believe you need your card for that also.
No, you don't.
I believe you need your card for that also.
Yeah.
But there are dispensaries in DC where you don't need your card. So.
Well, this is the thing. You'll be gifted stuff. It's not, you ain't paying for marijuana. You being gifted.
Right.
I love a loophole.
All of the medical marijuana, recreational, is still not legal for purchase or for buying or selling. Recreational is still not legal for buying or selling. You can't grow.
Yeah, but I'll give you a suggested gift price.
2 ounces on your person.
Yeah.
Right. And remember, it is still illegal to possess or to have on federal property. So remember that about the District of Columbia, because you can walk up on federal property quite honestly anywhere.
A park,
Absolutely.
a park at the edge of the river. Be careful. Smoke at home.
Just smoke in your house, child. Just smoke in your house.
Right.
Find someone's backyard who doesn't mind. Give them $10.
Don't do that.
Keep it
Kevin Sutton, we see you, we miss you, we love you. I hope you're feeling well, doing well, looking great.
Definitely. So we just had our so y'all know Black History Month is coming, but here at the Black Think Tank, we like to celebrate Black history every day, but we vocalize it digitally and virtually every Tuesday. So that you can get a snippet of things that you might not know. I've had several people come to me and be like, "Oh my God, I love that segment," because I always find out things that I didn't know. Actually, somebody said that on the Buzzboys and Poets show the other day. So this is one of my favorite segments, and it's from the uncle.
Black history, black herstory. You have to know where you're from to know where you're going. Uncle Historian Haywood.
Hey, what's up, nieces and nephews? So today, thank you all for receiving us as always. Thank you, Anthony, for allowing us this moment here on Black Think Tank, where we get to share a little bit of history, our history. One thing I like to say about history is, it's an African proverb. It says the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter until the lion can tell his tale. So today, I want to celebrate a tale that has been told to us over and over again. And it is the tale that is, every year, my family would sit around on Martin Luther King Day, and for as long as I can remember, and watch this documentary series called Eyes on the Prize.
Keep your eyes on the
I mean, it's the best theme song for a documentary series. It might be in consideration for what I like to say, the Black National Anthem. I know the Black National Anthem, one of the songs is Frankie Beverly and Mays, Before I Let Go. Another one is, what is the actual Black National Anthem? Whatever that is. The one that they play at the NFL games. But keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Because the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. And if we keep our eyes on the prize and hold on, we are promised and guaranteed justice. Eyes on the Prize is a documentary series produced by Henry Hampton and narrated by Julian Bob. And actually, I found out a good friend of mine, comedian Jamel Dotson, some of his folks were involved in the production of this. Miss Lynn Walker Huntley from the Ford Foundation. Another friend of mine, Chip Jones, another friend of ours, comedian Chip Jones, the friend of his, Orlando Bagwell, was one of the directors of Eyes on the Prize, which is a 14-piece documentary series that premiered in 1987. And there were two parts. One part went from 1954 to 1965, which went from Brown versus Board of Education up to the actual the Voting Rights Act. And then 1965 through 1985, which started with, I believe, 1963, with the prominence of Malcolm X coming on the national scene, and then ended with the election of Harold Washington as the first Black mayor in Chicago. I believe second Black mayor, because there's a Black woman now who's the mayor. That being said, this documentary series was something that I loved to hate to watch.
Right.
I hated having to sit down and watch it. It felt like it was so old. It felt like it was in black and white. It felt like it was so long ago. And now, as I was searching for it, I was really looking for it on television. And thankfully, I recently became a member of, and I suggest that other folks do this if you want to see really good documentaries, or just support your local public broadcasting stations. I became a member of PBS. I support WHUT, Howard University Television here in the District of Columbia. And PBS, dig this, right? PBS, there was a woman who was married to a television producer, and I believe she's a psychiatrist. She said, "You gonna have to put some segment of television on for children and education, just 10%. She made sure that this happened. And from that, we have got Sesame Street, Electric Company, documentaries like Eyes on the Prize, continued documentaries by Henry Louis Gates, African American, Many Rivers to Cross, Know Your Roots, the story about Reconstruction that I talked about last week, and great African civilizations. I say this to say because when we look at our history, right, and we look at those like Eyes on the Prize, there's so much more to that story than just Martin Luther King. This is where you learn about Ralph Abernathy. This is where you learn about Medgar Evers. This is where you learn about the movement. This is where you learn about the NAACP and the creation of the NAACP. And then this is also where we learn about how the movements within the movements, because I believe we call this a movement because it keeps going and it has to keep going. Well, we find out that the Moors and Noble Drew Ali actually led Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims and the Nation of Islam, which actually led to the Nation of Gods and the Earth and the 5 percenters as we know them today. So our story and the way it's segmented there's not enough time in the day to tell our entire story. So what I love about our story, which is history is our story. His story is our story. This story has been documented and told and heard for you and I to share with our children, who I do hope grow to hate watching this just like I did. I hope that they grow to understand that it was not that long ago. That right now, what we're fighting with these insurgents and this insurgency, we're fighting for the exact same thing. What we have to remember is 70 million people voted for Biden, and some odd million, again, have voted for the other side. So what we understand from stuff like this, and if this stuff was required learning in high school, I do believe we wouldn't have protesters out there right now going, we know nothing else but to storm the gates. But what happened about the right to vote? What happened about voicing your differences and ensuring that your differences were heard in a place that was peaceful? And all of these protests that happened when Martin was protesting, and then SNCC and the SCLC, that was all what is the word I'm looking for? Anti-establishment. That was all anarchy, so it seems, but just sitting and praying in a bank when they wouldn't give you a loan. Just simply sitting at a counter when they wouldn't give you a meal, when they wouldn't serve you, when they would dump, and then not serve you, would dump flour and sugar and hot water and other elements on your head, and then call the police and say, you don't belong there. What we're seeing now are their descendants running into the Capitol saying, this vote is not mine. We understand that this vote was not yours. But for this is the 59th inauguration, I promise you, 57 of them was yours. So, of those of them that have been yours, I'm not here to say that this is ours. I am here to say that if we keep our eye on the prize, then we may get to a point where everybody can voice their differences in the way that Malcolm X said, which I heard in Eyes on the Prize, bloodlessly. Malcolm X coined the phrase that I am aware of a bloodless revolution. And all you need to do is go out there for the ballot. It's not about the ballot or the bullet. It's literally about the ballot or your bullshit. And you cannot keep coming with that bullshit. As we said in the first episode of the New Year, Dionne Warwick has told us, do not come into 2021 with that bullshit.
None of that
stuff that don't work no more, and you're on the wrong side of history. So I will say, please do me a favor, do us all a favor. And if you're an educator out there, please educate your students to Eyes on the Prize, show them what this is. And if you are not an educator, educate yourself to Eyes on the Prize. Because the best thing we can do is educate ourselves, keep our eyes on the prize, and remember, all we got to do is hold on. Because the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eye on the prize. Hold on. All them that made this happen and made this moment possible, we say, like we always say at this time, to the ancestors and those of who us are descendants, and the blood between us. Ashe.
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 I love that picture of Malcolm, of Martin Luther King, because that lets you know right there, he was a cool dude. He was like, what we talking about here?
Yeah,
Civil rights? What we talking about
He
here?
was like, for my cash app. For my cash app for my birthday.
And speaking of the picture, I wanted to say, yes, Teresa, who commented that historians have made MLK and Malcolm X Black Panther pictures in black and white, so it distorts time and makes people think it was longer ago than it was. I actually had to jump down that rabbit hole myself. I was yesterday years old when I found out about this, and I was like, wow, the first color photo was actually in 1851. So I know in 1960.
Speak.
They tried it. They tried on a con.
Media manipulation is a trip. That's why I'm so glad we have platforms like this.
Yeah.
As long as we don't do too much and Mark come and snatch this, but trust me, if Zucker come with that sucker shit, we'll take this somewhere else, baby. Don't worry.
We'll go right on the Black Planet.
All right.
Right
Tell
on
them it ain't black enough.
I mean, we still got parents who knew, who saw Martin Luther King, right?
Right.
I mean, so how could it be so long ago?
Right. Our children attend a school, Mission Walker, where the man was with Martin Luther King. People that we know walked with. Marion Barry was someone who walked with Martin Luther King. My stepfather walked with Martin Luther King when he visited Chicago. And I know people who actually sat in the presence of Malcolm X. So this wasn't that long ago.
Right.
And it's not that far, and we are not that far removed from just being able to get the right to be treated, as Michael Che said, civilly. We just asked them to treat us like they would treat anybody else in public. Say what the hell you want to say at home.
Speaking of civility, I just wanted to take a moment to say that, because yesterday in the great Commonwealth of Virginia, we had a whole, Second Amendment, we just had a lot of activity. We'll say
I heard, yeah.
There was a lot of activity, but what I really can say that I appreciated is, because the Capitol was flooded. I mean, thousands of people came out, gun rights activists. And what I can say is that there were 2A activists and Boogaloo Boys, whatever you want to call them. All of them was out there with their guns, and the new Black Panthers was out there with their guns, and people who didn't have no affiliation was out there with their guns. And that's just one thing that I'm going to say, right, wrong, or indifferent. I support the Second Amendment, and it was peaceful. Listen, you had people with opposing views walking past each other with respect. Why? Because everybody had guns. Don't start no shit. It won't be no shit. And if we could just find a way to do that in America, I just feel like we would not even be going through half of the things that we go through. Don't start no shit. It won't be no shit. Now, I also understand that it's going to look different when you see people of color exercising those same rights, and you may not like it, but what's good for the goose is good for the goddamn gander. And so what I want people to understand is I can support gun rights. I feel like for people who are not, who don't support gun rights and feel like nobody should have guns except law enforcement and the government, I will never, ever, ever be on your team for that. I can never, ever, ever ascribe to something like that, because history and a little bit of reading and research has taught me that is not going to be the way to go.
Amen.
Amen.
So if you want to have,
People get mistaken. They look at gun violence.
For real, because I'm telling you, law-abiding citizens don't have any issues with guns.
You're absolutely right. Throughout the weekend, I've had family from New York, family from Georgia, talking about there's gun shows going on right now. There is a lack of ammo in the United States. There's a lack of body armor going on in the United States. There's a lack of gas masks going on in the United States. At first, I was like, oh, yeah, we'll get a gun. Now I'm like, oh, my goodness, we need a gun. I mean, and I've always, I think in the United States, it also has to do with where you've grown up at, what your culture is. In the South, there's a big culture of guns. It's a normal thing. A lot of the Southern states have carry laws. Here in the district, in Maryland, in Virginia, we all have different laws. In Maryland, when I went to get just to practice, with a gun, in PG County, they let you do anything. I was pointing the gun all over the place. It had no clue how to use it. But if you go to Montgomery County, which is the county where the majority of Caucasians live, then you have to take an entire class before they're even letting you in a gun range. Then you have to sit down and have a certain amount of video hours. So I agree totally with you, Patrice. If you are well within your rights and your sanity, which doesn't matter right now, but well within your rights to purchase a gun and everything that goes along with it, please do. I'm on my way now searching for one, because I'm pretty nervous sitting here with just a bunch of knives.
I know that's right. And I didn't go down there marching because I'm not the type of person that ever goes looking for no issues. However, I feel like being able to protect your life, your liberty, and your property, that's just not something that I feel like should be going anywhere. If you come, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, that's a part of what we have to look at is how the West was won, right? When you look at how the West was won, that was how the West was tamed. Hey, you got beef? We can pull out this steel and we can go ahead and talk about it. That being said, what the founders were looking for was your ability to protect yourself if a militia or another government ran up in your stuff. Remember, they were coming from the French revolutions, British revolutions, and also slave revolts, if you're looking at it being honest, which is why Black people have, I think we should do a show about this, Black people and gun rights, because disproportionately, we don't look at it the same way because of all that was ingrained in us. But when we look at it and think about what has happened to us, gun ownership is not only a right, but it's a necessity when you look at the environment that we live in now. That being said, all that we see with guns, I don't believe the problem is guns. I do believe that the problem has been because guns have, AR-15s.
I was just about to say, it's one thing when you got to load up a musket or you have 2 magazines of this and, a DMV. That's not, when somebody just renew their suspended license, you don't need to see nobody with one of these. Like, I get that. I totally get that. But it's hard to teeter-totter in between that space. Right. When we're dealing with
based on the way that you're raised, because I was raised around guns. Mm-hmm. Like, my dad, I was just telling the first time I broke my arm was because I didn't have the shotgun properly up against my shoulder. Back. Broke my arm. But even like the first secular birthday party that I ever had, because y'all know my parents are ministers, they let me have a party in the basement. My uncle was a DJ partying, but upstairs on that couch, those shotguns was out just in case, you know what I'm saying? Like something had to be handled. But so I think I've never been afraid of guns, or, due to my background, I'm not able to have a gun. But at the same token, just send your gun prayers to me. I'm definitely on board with all of that.
I mean,
you can have grenades. You might can't have guns, but you can have grenades.
I'm not gonna lie. I have a personal.
There's a loophole everywhere, baby. I'll find it for you if you give me enough time. But listen, before Haywood, I want to just say I love this. What Miko? I don't know if you pinned it already, but Ida B. Wells said that the Winchester should have a place of honor in every Black home. She sure did. She sure did.
And she also said that because Black people were being lynched. As a pastime. So when you look at stuff like that was happening, you go, okay, people were running up in homes, and like they did Emmett Till, they ran up in his people's homes.
Dragging you out.
That could not happen if those people had enough guns to stave them off. That being said, Rosewood, they had guns. Oklahoma, they had guns. And North Carolina, they had guns. Now, I'll take my own personal situation. I remember the first time that I saw a gun. I remember it was somebody was trying to break in our house, and my mom had to stand there with a revolver and keep them away. So that's how I knew that guns could be protected. But also, my father, some 20 years later, drug dealer, was murdered because he had a gun in the home. So I have this duality where I go, having gun ownership is real, but also somebody being murdered because of gun ownership and drugs is also real. So just like we talked about earlier about keeping our eyes on the prize, education has to be a part of this entire conversation. Because we're talking about, like she was saying earlier, you got body armor. Why do we have body armor? Why are people missing body armor? Why do we have armor-piercing rounds? There's no deer out there wearing armor. So if we have armor-piercing rounds, and we have not just semi-automatic rifles, but automatic rifles that reload at a regular basis, or reload at a high basis, and then we have guns that shoot around the corner, and then we have guns with laser sights, and then we have, and so forth. So I know people in this. I know people who hunt. I know people who do all of these things, and that is their lifestyle, and I have no issue with it. My only thing is, hey, educate yourself and your family, and then even still be aware that when someone is angry, they go into their house to probably get that pistol. That's just a fact.
Now, yeah, if you got a short fuse, I don't, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of I feel like it's a lot of responsibility being a gun owner. You can't be somebody with a hot head because you can't listen. You can't shoot everybody. You like it needs to be safe.
Yo, our neighbor, we heard gunshots from their house. Like, the hell, what happened? There was a snake in the house. A goddamn snake? And you shot up your
don't need no damn guns. As soon as somebody, take your parking spot at the Wegmans or the Kroger or whatever, you ready to pop the trunk, you don't need no damn gun. You don't need no damn gun.
There's a snake in your plate. You don't need a gun.
There's a snake in my boot.
Yo, y'all, before we go any further, y'all know we got to pay these bills. So guess what time it is?
What?
Buy Black Main Street. You want to support Black businesses? Buy Black Main Street is a Black business directory with everything you need, from grocery items to women's clothing, toys, games, lipsticks, hot sauce. We even have men's undergarments. You name it, we have it. You can pre-order for the holidays. Right now, business owners, you can upgrade to a premium listing for 75% off with the code BUYBLACK20. So head on over to Buy Black Main Street and get listed today. www.buyblackmainstreet.com. We have it all. Jams, jellies, potatoes, yams, greens, candles. We have it all for you. Please go to buyblackmainstreet.com. Again, for Black businesses support, we have it all. Hats, we have it all. Garments, we have it all. Anything you're looking for, Buy Black Main Street. Go to www.buyblackmainstreet.com. Buy Black Main Street.
And what's the name of it?
Buy Black
Main Street.
I just wanted to say, what Rashawn said, I don't need one because I get it popping. And what I will say is that what people tend to forget, or some people don't acknowledge, is that things like the Holocaust did not happen overnight. It was a slow, okay, first we're going to take your guns. Now we need you to identify yourself a certain way. Now we're taking people out of your house. You know what I mean? It's so I think certain things are a slippery slope again, because it's, never mind. This ain't what Insurrection. This is what the show's supposed to be about.
No. So Patrice, what we're going to do, because clearly this is a great topic for a show, what we're going to do is we can make that one of our Black History Month shows.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely get an expert on here. Let people know how to be protected, how to stay safe, how to register, how to go, where to go to the gun range. We'll get all those questions answered for y'all. So yeah, I feel like that's a great show that we can have in February.
Now, we had 3 Black Minutes planned, but are we still having that situation, or? Yeah,
Ampston is very much Teddy Riley. So we have to reschedule. I know we get so many Teddy Rileys.
All I'm gonna do is zoom.
Yo, so we'll have to reschedule on that. But while we're talking about, so do you want to get into Insurrection first, or what we're going to do for Black History Month?
Oh, I think this is a great opportunity to show them what we're doing for Black History Month.
Yes. So listen, Black Think Tank viewers, for February, which is Black History Month, the Blackish show, is having a live show at the Arlington Draft House. Now listen, this is a podcast during the first part, and it's also going to be a comedy show. Now it's super social distance, super safe. It's February the 28th, the last day in February. We're going to do a Black History Month, Black History recap on y'all hoes. So y'all, I want y'all to check out this promotion, and I want y'all, because tomorrow we're going to post it on our page, and I want y'all to share it, because we need maximum participation. And let me break it down a little further.
You ain't Black if you don't come to this show. If you don't come to this show,
So listen, real talk. We're trying to make some big moves in 2021. In 2021, we're trying to make some big moves, and we're trying to do this at least once a month. So we need your support in this initial program, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Support. We're going to be reaching out to Black agencies. We're going to be reaching out to Blackity Black caucuses and all of that. Trust and believe if you're Black, we're reaching out to you.
Preach,
if you
preacher.
want to learn or any other, we want you there.
Preach,
So
preacher.
I want to show you this promo so that you can get into, and these features that we have are just phenomenal. These special guests and singers and
promo for
oh, okay. Celebrate your Blackness. Celebrate your Blackness.
I love it. That
Sing, celebrate.
exciting.
Sing, celebrate. For King, celebrate.
Teresa said this is a very serious promo for a comedy show because we serious about y'all buying these daggone tickets.
Yeah, very serious.
Yeah, we getting back out in these streets. We getting back out in these streets. We slanging these jokes, and I mean, you already know. You already know.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna post it's gonna be on the Draft House website. We're gonna post all the information on tomorrow. So make sure that y'all go out and support, and make sure you share the promo when we drop it. And so, go ahead, Patrice.
Oh no, because I was actually about to segue into something else. I had to look at the calendar again because it just doesn't even feel like tomorrow is inauguration day. It just does not feel like there's an inauguration tomorrow.
Yo.
Oh no, you're not in DC. It feels very much like like a situation will be happening pretty soon.
Tell me about since you all are right there on the ground, tell us, because we're only getting whatever the news is, showing us and so on and so forth. But I know everything's kind of locked down, right?
So there's the red zone and the green zone. The red zone is the mall, and much of the federal territory is within the district. But then also now areas leading into the district. So bridges are closed. I believe 14th Street Bridge was closed. 11th Street Bridge is being guarded. So that's how we get into 11th Street Bridge and the
up to
Douglas
Capitol
Bridge.
Hill, which is nice.
Right.
Which is what? That Capitol Hill exit? Whatever that
No. So I said that. So it is a military war zone. Essentially, it's a militarized zone. I don't want to say a war zone, but a militarized zone. You actually do have to. There are checkpoints. There are concrete barriers and the riot fencing up all these areas that are considered the red zone. And then there are checkpoints where you have to show ID to show why you're getting beyond.
Tell me about the other day.
Already, they have arrested one person who had.
No, you. What happened with?
I'll get to my part. So they have arrested one gentleman who had a gun. I believe he had some type of gun, and he had over 500 rounds.
500
rounds.
And he had credentials too. Didn't he have inaugural?
He had fake inaugural credentials.
He said that he was security for the.
He was someone's personal security.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. So like what she was saying, so he showed his stuff to get through. I had to show, I work on the mall, not too far from the Capitol building. And I had to show my badge to get through. Now what's wild is we're doing stuff in preparation for the inauguration and have been doing stuff. It's called the Insurrection now. We have been doing stuff in preparation for the inauguration, probably from early December, right before Christmas up until now. So that being said, we had been out there doing our part, and then just as you see after what happened last week on the 6th, we were called off on the 5th and the 6th, not going actually to the office, work from home. And then you get down there and see, oh, this is what happened and this is why. So what I find odd or what I find comical is the very people who were putting up the concrete barriers and the riot barriers are the people who they are upset about coming over into this country in the first place. And the people who are rioting are the people.
The jokes write themselves, yo.
I mean, literally, they're building a wall to keep out the people who are saying they want a wall built to keep them out. And I'm like, y'all are missing the point. Everybody on the line don't look. We all are out here. We don't look like any of you. I am now clipboard guy. I'm ready to be clipboard guy, right? And there's a crew of folks working with us, and we'll just call them anti-maskers. Let's just leave it there. So you have your anti-maskers. They were contractors. Yeah. So you have your anti-maskers who we have to ask to wear masks and ask to do certain things. But they were cool. They were working, right? So you see them working, and they may not be happy with the outcome of the election, but they're doing their part to ensure that the inauguration goes on. And then,
are they?
Yeah, because they were upset that the dudes made it so they couldn't come to work. I was like,
you know, stupid shit just annoy me. You know, I get real irritated with stupid shit fast like that. So.
Well then also you have to understand that the closer you get to the Capitol, you could just imagine a big, huge red fence that extends out all the way down to the waterfront, all the way down past the monuments on one side. So it's all the way, what is that? Downtown, right. Most of downtown. I was going to Sephora the other day and I lost my breath because their store was boarded up and locked. I was like, what is this country coming to? Sephora. Sephora. What? I mean, Sephora.
Who's stealing makeup? But then they found a lady who stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop and then tried to sell it online.
Yes.
You want to do big time, huh? You want to go over there to Guantanamo. You want to just find out what Guantanamo looks like, huh?
She's still on the run.
I mean, it's weird because one day we went down there and everything was, we saw stuff going up and we were like, okay, they're fencing off the mall. They don't want people walking there. And then it was like, oh no, they're fencing us in. Oh, okay, this is what's happening now. And then that's when I started talking to the guy who was like, man, you know what? He said, listen. These ain't my people. He started explaining. He said, I get it. I live out around some of these folks. He said, but I don't understand all this. He said, they're keeping me from working. And I'm one of the few people paying taxes in my neighborhood. So it's amazing how things have flipped because there used to be our communities where taxes weren't getting paid, only a few people are working. And then you go, hey, wait a minute, why are you messing it up for the rest of us? But now I'm listening to them saying, why are these meth heads messing it up?
That would be like saying back in the 80s, the crackheads are messing it up for us. The crackheads, first of all, wouldn't have gone all the way up there to do all that. They're not that busy. They're all selling things.
Could you imagine the crackheads up at the White House doing a protest live?
Can you imagine? It's just
like looking like the Pepper Butterfly album cover.
We know that they'll be 24/7.
Have you guys ever seen what is that movie? Birth of a Nation. Have you guys ever seen Birth of a Nation? Excerpts from it, when they show the scene where they have the senators and the black representatives in Congress eating chicken, drinking liquor with their feet up and throwing bones. And I'm like, wow, who does this look like now? Who does this look like running all up in there with throwing your soup bones? Talking about your organic chicken.
Okay. Speaking of, go ahead, Tracy. What were you saying?
What'd you say?
What you saying, Tracy?
Oh, so to be a little bit more serious, it's just kind of crazy. It's like, and I'm not saying all white people, but this whiteness disease, this white supremacy disease. Mm-hmm. They come over, they go, everything. It's like watching Will Smith in his movies with the aliens. These people, they're talking about a certain group of humans who go throughout this planet, tearing things up, destroying other cultures, destroying the land. And then when it comes down to it, you always have to look back at self. I don't care how non-racist you might be and you're of a different culture, you're of the white culture who has privilege. Until you start doing things, you have to be able to see right now that your own community is about to rip up and mess up your own community. You guys are killing each other. You're tearing each other apart.
I was about to say.
As we kind of all sit back like.
What did Chappelle say? Come on, whites, get yourselves together.
Wait, so you were speaking about the privilege in itself, the privilege of this man to request organic food in federal custody. Like I cannot even
after storming
the car. That's
Orange is the New Black, right? We saw it on there. That lady wanted just you can get that, but how many people are really getting that?
Well, I know brothers who are Muslim who can't get halal meals.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
And
I know brothers who are Rostas who can't get.
And that's normally the
excuse.
Right, who can't get I know people who can't get what they need in order to do what they need to do. And this was what's funny to me. I know people who are from overseas, right, who have been deported, and they were actually doing their part to help the economy. And now I'm looking at these people who either you took off of work, so you have enough PTO, or you don't have a job, but you did show up with tie wraps, body armor, and with the mindset that you were here to destroy.
And a lot of them were law enforcement. Let's not gloss over that.
Let's not gloss over that.
Military, and
ex-military also.
Military. Well, there was a few legislators up there too. The guy out of West Virginia was up there as well.
From Virginia.
They say that there's talk that there were legislators who were actually, and I say legislators because these are people who create laws.
Trump,
who were actually walking people around, giving them tours the day before.
Yes.
And they were finding out that people have been removed from the National Guard because as the Guard is being vetted by the FBI, seeing who is in that white supremacist category, meaning that they will. White supremacy now is actually been declared by the FBI as domestic terrorism. If it hasn't been full on declared, they are saying, and they have said to Congress within the last 2 years, that this is something that we have looked into and looked at, and we need to take this serious.
Even though there was that bombing in Oklahoma
20 years ago, Timothy McVeigh was 20 years ago.
They're now deciding.
His mentor was shot, actually trying to run up in the National Holocaust Museum and kill the black security guard.
I did not know that though, but people don't know that. Okay, so let's dissect that for a minute. Yeah. I did not know until I watched this documentary the other day. Maybe we watched the same documentary. I just, by my own personal recognizance, I don't remember or recollection rather that the bombing and also the David Koresh child in Waco, Texas, all of that was white supremacy.
Yes.
They spin it like that.
Yes.
It was a cult and a cult action and things of that nature. But no, it was straight up white supremacists.
Yes. Domestic terrorism.
And killed all those people, but they didn't label it as that. So, I'm just thinking, it really gathered me when I felt fooled. You know what I'm saying? When you see something and you're like,
hoodwinked.
Right.
Bamboozled.
I really felt bamboozled.
Did you all know that Castro was instrumental in the extinction of apartheid in South Africa? You wouldn't know that. There's a lot of stuff in history, current all the way to the past, that we're not made privy to. We all hate Cuba. Why? Because they're communists. Really? Do we hate them because of that? Or do we hate them for some other? I mean, come on now. You have to kind of look at the reason the United States goes after each of these communities.
They had not considered. Ida B. Wells had written on lynching extensively because it was not being reported upon. She wrote on it extensively, and it was considered terrorism to our people. And it had been considered terrorism, and no one wanted to say that it was such because it was black folks that it was happening to. But if we take the mindset of what happened during the Holocaust in Germany, you have to remember they got black folks first. They went for the Rhine-Line bastards first. They went for people who they considered lesser than and degradants of society first. Then they went for people who they were like, hey, ain't nobody going to look at us and say that we're doing this because we control the narrative of how this is going out. So the same things that had been happening there have been happening here. It is sort of like exactly what MLK spoke about in something that I just watched recently where he was interviewed by NBC Vancouver. It's a 20-minute thing that you should watch. I put it up on my Facebook page. I'll make sure I put it up on the Black Think Tank page where he talks about how you cannot thingify something. Meaning that we were property, we were things. You cannot thingify something and then not demoralize the things the entities that thingify the things that are something that is now a thing. You cannot do that. So when we are looked at as not human, as a Black person or a Black man, if you have to codify it with the color beforehand and not recognize that we are human beings, then what happens to us is just what happened to us. Even the Emancipation Proclamation, as MLK said, was literally a freedom to be stuck out in the elements. So you were free to freeze and hunt for food. So
pull yourself up by your own bootstraps.
And how do you say to someone who has no boots, pull yourself up by your bootstraps? So now this is what we have. This is the mindset that we're dealing with. That there is no way that Georgia and Pennsylvania and these states that we continuously win, even though we vote against our best interests. We vote against our best interests, and even still, we can't say that those states went that way. Nevada went that way. We know for a fact that it had to be tricks and lies. But when we said that based upon your redistricting, when we said that based upon your rezoning, when we said that based upon you qualifying people to vote, and you not re-implementing people's voting ability to vote.
After they paid their debt to society and things of that nature.
So all of your blocks we have held on and we have worked through all of your blocks and locks, and here you go again, resetting the goal line saying this can't be. Got it. Now you need to sit back and watch how we run shit. And when I say we, those of us who are like, you know what, we're not them, and we also have a stake in America being what it is.
So I mean, if you look at besides the racists, the outright racists, the ones who don't know yet that they are, and we're talking about just some of the basic Trump supporters, they want some of the same things that we want. They wanted more than $600 to be given out. They don't want to be put out of their apartments. They want to be given some kind of money so they can continue to take care of their families. There's nothing wrong with it.
They also don't want to put up concrete barriers.
But
those are the jobs.
even with that, just understanding that we all want the same thing, everybody's blaming and has finger pointing going to a different person. How could Kentucky not see that it was Mitch McConnell who was holding back the funds and still continue to put this cat in office?
Because we don't want
ignorance.
There's a cognitive dissonance there.
It's like going to that area and, oh, I'm not racist, but can I play in your hair? It's the refusal to educate yourself about what's really going on instead of everybody turning on the TV. The Black Panthers have been saying for the last 48, 50, 60 years, hey, the media is lying. They build a certain narrative for us to believe, right? When those Black Panthers ran up on City Hall out in California, all of a sudden California made an entire law saying, hey, this is no longer allowed. You can no longer bring guns.
We didn't mean it like that.
We didn't mean y'all Negroes. We meant them. We meant those over there. But I mean,
we meant everybody out here fighting the Mexicans. That's what we meant. That's why I say, I understand exactly what you're saying when you say we want the same thing, but we don't want the same thing because some of them want to know that they're living better than you. This is why racism exists. As long as I am not Black.
And classism. I mean, everybody wants somebody to be able to put their fucking foot on. Excuse my language. And that's sad. That's a sad part of humanity. Right. But I feel like, Anthony, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I totally forgot what that was. You guys were saying was definitely more important. Oh no, now I do remember. I was gonna say before we go, because we're running out of time, I do want us to briefly talk about, are we optimistic about the new team that's coming in? Are you guys optimistic that technically some things are just going to change. Like we have full control of the House and the Senate. We have blah, 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 blah. Democrat, 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 Democrat. Do you think it's going to get slightly better? Are we optimistic about this?
I am optimistic. I'm optimistic about the new administration. I like the people that he have appointed and what I've seen thus far. That being said, I am aware that this has just been the preliminaries. Now the battle is beginning because they're going to filibuster and they're going to do what they need to do. That is, the House minorities are going to do what they need to do because they've not been in the minority and don't want to be the minority from here going forward. So they're going to do what they need to do to rally their base. So we have got to do what we have got to do to ensure that we continue to keep our base energized and moving in the direction that we want to go. And that's collectively. A lot of us collectively have come together and say, okay, we need to put all these differences aside and make sure that a Democrat wins. And that Democrat was Joe Biden and his vice presidential nominee, Kamala Harris.
And then the senators around the country.
Right. So we need to make sure that going forward that we keep our representatives in place. And some of us who live in areas where no one but a Republican is going to get nominated need to go ahead and become Republicans and start in that part and ensuring that we vote with the Democrats just like they do. Because they do that same thing all the time. Because you got West Virginia Democrats that vote Republican all the time.
Tracy?
Go ahead, Patrice.
I'm just gonna quickly say I'm not optimistic, but I'm indifferent. I'm not optimistic or pessimistic. I do generally err more to the side of cynicism because people have showed you who the hell they were for the last 2,000 plus years of civilization, and it's nothing new under the sun. I would love to believe that somehow a utopia will form in this lifetime that I'm living. However, I have been on this earth in many different forms for over 278 years. I know you can't tell because the skin's flawless, but I don't know. I'm just kind of one of those, let's just see. I don't want to make any type of predictions. What I do know is that I'm going to continue to cast my lot where the Most High resides and come what may. As long as me and listen, I'm with the Creator every time. So,
hey,
these are those things that belong to Caesar.
Tracy?
Where the money reside.
I'm on God's team. Team Jesus, team soldiers for Christ. No, it's
Tracy?
So I'm kind of in between Patrice and Wood. I would like to see change. I'm optimistically always encouraged when I see someone of my color, and I have to be totally honest, of my color, like Kamala saying, well, what we'd like to do is we like to release nonviolent drug offenders. She has an agenda. Now, just like I sat back and looked at Trump's agenda and I waited and I wrote the list down and I waited to check shit off, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to hold these people just as responsible as I'm holding the Trump administration. So right now I'm in the midst of, I better hurry up and get a gun before they start changing laws. But at the same time, I'm hopeful that I won't ever need one.
I like it.
Good deal. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic, but I'm an optimist. So that's, like I always lean on kind of optimism. It's just the way I'm wired. Do they have I agree with you all, really, Patrice. Like they've literally shown us who they are for the past 2,000 years. I also agree with Marcus Keith that it doesn't work. What's happening does not work. They need to rethink something and create something that works because it hasn't worked all this time. Mm-hmm. All this time, it has not worked. So something new and fresh needs to take place. We need to actually get some literal black think tanks in government. We need those to really take this white supremacy down, heal America if it can be healed. And I'm an optimist. I feel like at some point it can be healed. Will it be in my lifetime? I doubt it. But get on the road to being healed.
Destroy and rebuild. Like it got to come
and
down.
also, there's a duality to that, because really this is not our problem. We shouldn't have to come up with a black think tank in order to solve this problem. You need white think tanks to come up with this solution. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. But as always, we always have to come and save everybody.
I don't get it.
But that's what
I don't get it.
Remember, Anthony, it wasn't our problem to begin with, but we were like, you know what? God damn it, somebody got to make these shit links taste good.
I'm sweating now.
If we waited on them to fix it, it would never get fixed.
I know.
Think about it. What's the question that we keep asking? How do you have the East India Trade Corporation rob all these countries of these spices and still make potato salad that tastes like that?
Child, the entire of India, you couldn't get a little bit of curry.
Can we please? Can we just? Did we pin Miko's comment right there? Because that part is so important. I guess overall, it will be nice to have the EPA and other organizations to keep their eyes on our water and air climate, because we all about to be up out of here, racist, pro-black, whatever. If that isn't in place, somebody. And I am looking for the day when Earth decides she has had enough of these parasites that we people.
We are going to gag when she kicks us out. When she, it's like she gets a vaccine and she's going to eliminate us.
She's gonna be like, they look like coronavirus.
She's so patient and so beautiful, but I ain't even mad at the day she decided, listen, it's the dinosaurs for y'all. I'm gonna start off because I ain't got nothing but time. You understand that the Earth is billions of years old. Billions. She ain't got nothing but time to enjoy some peace and quiet. You might enjoy some peace and quiet. Get nuts up out of here.
Earth is ghetto.
Earth ain't ghetto. The people on it is ghetto. Earth is perfect.
He said Earth is a ghetto. So aliens out there like, have you seen Earth? Have you been there? Have you seen what they've been doing to their streets?
No, if you haven't already, shout out to the Blairisms.
Human crime is a problem.
Family of the Black Think Tank. On their season opener, they're going to have the young lady who sings the actual song, Earth is Ghetto. And if you haven't checked it out, go to Instagram and put in Earth is Ghetto. It's like several different variations of the song. It is amazing and it's hilarious. It's a black lady. She is singing down. The song is off the chain. So make sure y'all go check that out. But while we're talking about sponsors, we weren't talking about sponsors. That was my awkward segue. But we're going to, because we always forget to do this and we can no longer do it now. Mind you, for Black, now Patrice, hold out your pinky. Hold out your pinky.
I know where this is going.
Hold out your pinky, child. Okay, I got you. Now we're going to redo this ad for Black History Month in February, okay? Pinky swear.
Why do y'all want my voice on here? You know I hate
pinky swear. Okay, there we go. Y'all saw it. I got it on. I got it recorded. Now.
As always, the Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice would like to thank our sponsors, MJ_Herbal_Infusions. Want to get high? Eat this. And the Flunky Concierge Service, always available when you have more tasks than time. If you would like your event or business featured on the Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice, email us at blackthinktank.a.p@gmail.com.
Baby. Doesn't Patrice's voice sound so soothing and beautiful?
Well, I promise I'll have it by Friday. That's my promise. I'll do it by Friday.
Eat this.
So corny.
Just a recap, everybody who's watching, who's in the DMV area, you make sure that you stay safe tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. Even in your own local respective states, there have been threats for, armed people, militias, things of that nature, especially at the state's capitals. So I want you, especially us, to watch out, be careful, be safe.
Be smart. Don't go looking for no,
Don't give up.
50 states have credible threats. All 50 states and U.S. territories have credible threats to their capitals. So
Puerto Rico, Guam.
Exactly. So that literally means be on your P's and Q's and keep your head on a swivel.
Do you know they're no longer letting pickup trucks with out-of-state plates into the district?
They should.
They should.
Anybody with a Confederate flag.
Thursday.
You can have a gun bid. I'm playing.
I'm just saying, anybody with a Confederate flag should have never been allowed to come into the nation's capital. Could you imagine trying to go into Madrid with a French flag, waving it, going, "Hey, I'm here now. I'm here now. Hey, how y'all doing, King? What's going on, Julio?"
Yo,
The caucasity and audacity.
They do have a train that goes from here and it goes from there, but they don't carry a Confederate flag. Anyway.
So we are not on next week. We are taking that time to garner our Black History Month shows, which are going to be off the chain. You already know. Also, I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Let everybody know where everybody can find you, what you're doing, if you have anything coming up, and then we will close out. Squad,
you got anything?
Yeah. So this is Haywood. Oh, you all. Anyway.
You know what?
Coming this Thursday, I will be working with Improbable Comedy, January 21st. Improbable Comedy. Please check out Improbable Comedy. I believe it's .com. Or check out my link on Instagram and my links on Facebook. I'll be putting that up. Also, at Woody Seed, all that good shit. So, but the jokes of Improbable Comedy this Thursday.
Tracy?
So mjherbalinfusions.com will go live sometime this week. It's a surprise. I don't know. You don't know, but it'll be up. So if you'd like to order any CBD products from the site, please check me out. Hopefully that site will be up by sometime, what's today? After inauguration.
Patrice DeVoe.
As always, at But Is She Funny on all social media. I have a show in Maryland hosted by Rashawn Goss White, an all-female show. Chi Chi is on it. Mimi is on it. It's February the 4th. There we go. It's February the 4th at the Hideaway in Maryland.
Oh, yeah. Hideaway.
At the Hideout in Maryland.
Wow.
At the Hideout. And it's actually no cover, so come through. And then I'll have the promos running, but I also have Brandon Hot Sauce Glover as the headliner on a Valentine's Day show here in Richmond, Virginia. Valentine's Day is 2 shows, a brunch and a dinner show. Anthony is going to be co-hosting that with me. We're going to have a great time. It's live, so we don't have to worry about Hot Sauce and his internet connection. And then we have She More Funny in Richmond, I believe, on the 18th at a venue 6335. We're bringing them to the city, so I'm getting back into my production bag, and praise God for a budget. And I'm doing the best that we can within the parameters that we have with COVID and et cetera, et cetera. So we really don't know what goes on from one day to the next, but these are all tentative and, prayers up, Lord willing, all that good stuff.
Good deal. I mean, we're basically all on the same shows. So check out our social media pages. I do want to reiterate, though, our Black History Month recap at the Arlington Draft House. I really want you guys to get out and support that. We're trying to do it way big and make a mark. So I would really appreciate you guys' support on that.
We're not trying. We are. So either you're going to be there or you're not. But we are going to do it way big. We hope you're there to witness it and be a part of it. But it's going to happen, Lord willing, regardless.
Shout out to Algiers Diamond and Violet Gray. Yep, they are going to be our guest comedians. And also M. Lewis, you already know that he is if you came to the comedy campfire.
Yes.
M. Lewis
Emma Lewis is up next now. I'm telling you, get him, see him while you can before he's unattainable and not affordable.
Yeah, I'm gonna say everyone on his way.
He is on his way.
Everyone on this show, and Tracy was just saying, Violet Gray. We just did a show just yesterday. No, not just yesterday, but Sunday with the Improv, the makeup party, and Violet Gray won it. And Violet keeps beating me in competition after competition. I'm gonna kick their ass one of these days.
Let me tell you, I owe
Violet. Goddamn Violet.
The last competition I did, I've only been in 3. I won 2, and the other one, no, I've been in 4. I won 2, and D-Lo beat me the other 2.
Ah, see.
Oh, D-Lo, Marcel Neal beat me one time, and then D-Lo beat me the other time. And I was like, oh my God, so I owe both of y'all, D-Lo and Marcel, meet me at the back of the runway. Oh, God. But look, we love y'all. Please stay Black. Please stay safe. Please stay careful. We love you. We'll see you back in February for Black History Month. Yeah, and that's it. And we're out.